Good day, YouTube, and welcome back to the Trooper's Corner. I'm Trooper134, and today I am going to be reviewing the Blackstone Adventure Ready gas camp stove with side burner. As some of you may know, a few years ago, Mrs. Trooper and I bought a pop-up camper, and the outdoor stove that came with it left much to be desired. So I wanted to replace that stove, and after doing a lot of research based on our budget, our space, and our cooking needs, I thought this stove may just fit the bill. So without further delay, let's dive right in. The grill packs up much like a briefcase. There are two heavy-duty latches on the outside that keep the lid closed for transport. There's a latch on the left-hand side to keep the lid open while you're cooking. There's a 17-inch cast aluminum non-stick coated griddle for your bacon and eggs and steaks or whatever else. And then there's a decent-sized burner on the side here for boiling coffee or warming soup up. The grill is meant to be hooked up to a high-pressure propane cylinder via the supplied hose and regulator that was included with the unit. Then it connects to the stove over on the right-hand side via this brass screw-on coupling. Please note, the stove does not have a rail attachment on the back side, so hanging it off on the side of your camper on the slide rail is not going to be an option. It also has a grease collection cup mounted on the back just underneath the griddle. Once you move this retention latch out of the way, the grease trap can be partially pulled out so it can collect liquid from whatever you're cooking on the griddle. Since coffee is always the most important task in the morning when we're camping, let's get that fired up and see how it does. Alright, looks like we have achieved percolation. Now, how long did that take? Just over 17 minutes. That's certainly not as fast as a jet boil or some other camping stoves that I've had, but honestly, I'm rarely in a big hurry when I'm making breakfast and coffee anyways, so that works for me. Next up, let's make some scrambled eggs and bacon. Ooh, that's one of my absolute favorite camping breakfasts of all time. Oh, can't forget the secret ingredient. Is there any better sound than that when you're camping? I think not. Now that everything is cooked and plated up, I'm going to illustrate one of my favorite features about this grill. Using my silicone spatula, I'm going to squeegee all the grease and bacon leavings off the griddle surface and back towards this spout that allows all of that to drain right into the grease cup that I was showing you earlier. One thing to note, do not use metal or wooden utensils on this griddle surface. Okay, those are going to end up scraping that non-stick coating right off the cast aluminum in no time, and then it's probably going to be pretty much worthless at that point. I don't really want to find out if you'll be able to use it after that, so trust me on this. Just use high-quality silicone utensils when dealing with the griddle. And then after that, a quick wipe down with a paper towel, and that's all we need. It doesn't get much easier than that. Oh yeah, let's eat. Once the grease cools off a bit, I like to pull that grease trap out and just dump it into a soda can or just right into the garbage. Alright, we'll go ahead and take one last look at this, and I'll kind of talk about some other features and some other things. So overall, love this stove. It's perfect for me and my family. Obviously, this is not a backpacking stove, right? You're going to want something much smaller, much lighter, but this is perfect for car camping, for pop-up campers, and even some mid-sized campers. It's designed to be used off a high-pressure propane cylinder. Okay, so not the small green cylinders that you use for your lanterns and your jet boils and whatnot. I like the controls for the griddle, the gas controls for the griddle and the burner, and then you have that igniter switch right next to them. Once in a while, especially if it's a little breezy, I've noticed the igniter switch doesn't do a great job. So I would say have a long stem butane lighter handy. And then here I'm just showing off that propane connection that goes to the stove again. And then once we pop those hinges up, we throw this lid up. That latch on the left-hand side that you can see automatically locks. That's really one of my only complaints about this. That latch is a little weak. If you're not careful and you just go to close the lid without popping the latch into the unlock position, it might break off. So here, and I'm just talking about this griddle. So when I bought this, I kind of wanted a cast iron. I was like, I'm not too sure about the cast aluminum, but I'm going to be honest, the aluminum is way lighter. It seems to work perfectly. It's not warping when it gets hot. It looks like that non-stick finish is working great. Like I said, I'll bring it up again. Make sure you're using high quality silicone utensils on that griddle. Otherwise, you're going to wear off that non-stick finish, and then I have no idea how well it will work. It might not. You can probably buy a replacement, but if you just use the right utensils in the first place, you won't have to do that at all. So right here, I'm kind of showing the latch on the side. That holds the griddle into place. So the griddle won't come loose and it's not shaking all over the place when you're trying to cook. I'll show you here in a second how we get that to pop off so we can remove the entire griddle for cleaning. One of the other cool features on this stove is these adjustable feet. So you can screw them in and out to accommodate for uneven terrain. They only come out about a ½ inch, but I found that's more than enough to get your stove pretty much on the level while you're cooking. They're also coated in a heavy-duty rubber to keep the stove from kind of sliding around on a slick surface too. Then also on the underneath side, this screw right here is what controls the latch that keeps the griddle in place. So you just partially unscrew that, you kind of push up on it to get that latch to disengage if you want to remove the griddle for deep cleaning or get underneath it. And then here is a shot of the latch on the top side. So that's what's holding the griddle in place. That little flange on the right hand side sticks through a little slot cut into the griddle itself, and once you kind of get it into place, you screw that screw back down and it tightens it down and kind of clamps it in there. And this wire cage that goes over the burner is real easy to remove too, so you can kind of clean everything out underneath there as well. And then it's real easy just to take your components inside and wash them in some hot soapy water. Don't use any abrasive cleansers, right? Just a little bit of dish detergent, some warm water, and then just like with your silicone tools, be careful what you're using to wash this. I'm using, a nylon brush that I use on my cast iron stuff when I'm cleaning it, so I know it's not going to scratch the surface. So don't use a Brillo pad or anything like that. Just something soft to get the remainder of the grease off, and a nice dish detergent. Nothing harsh, no harsh chemicals or anything like that. Everything cleans up real easy. Well, that's it, folks. My overall impression is this stove is amazing. I love it. I picked it up for about $130 off the internet, and I think it's worth every penny. It's the perfect size for my family's camping adventures. It doesn't take up a lot of space, it doesn't weigh very much, it's easy to use, and it's easy to clean. I honestly thought that I wouldn't really like the cast aluminum griddle when compared to a cast iron one, but honestly, I think this one may actually end up being better. The only really negative comment that I have is the hinge on the left-hand side that's meant to keep that lid up. It's a little flimsy. If that locks into place and you forget to unlock it before you close the lid and you really hammer down on that, you might end up breaking that weld or bending the bracket to where it's not going to work again. So maybe in subsequent models that needs to be beefed up a little bit. But I got to be honest with you. Everything else on this stove is just amazing. I love it. I'll emphasize this again. Remember to use high quality silicone tools on that griddle. Definitely don't use anything steel or metal. And I wouldn't even use wood. I think wood would eventually start scraping that up too. So just that real nice, soft, high-quality silicone tools. And I think that nonstick coating is going to last you a long time. Anyways, that just about wraps it up. If you liked the video, then you know what to do. I'm not going to tell you again. I hope you have a great day. This is Trooper 134 signing off.